Welcome back, little bro. You want to know how long no contact lasts because holy hell, you're sitting in it right now and it feels like you can't go another day without hearing from them. I understand. So what I did was I scoured the internet, I scoured all the studies that I could possibly find, and I wanted to know just the average amount of time that a person would have to go no contact in order to hear back from their ex. And what I found was really surprising. So first off, if you look yourself, you're gonna find very few studies. And what you're gonna find are actually polls, opinions from people who are in the same space that I am. And what they do is they build up a following of 10, 20, 30,000 people, and then they ask them, how long did it take when you went no contact for an ex to contact you back? And those are the only real studies that I could find. And it's really unfortunate. But that being said, I did find a couple, and the average was somewhere around the 2 to 3 month mark. Now look, that's not much to go on. And it's a really flimsy study, especially when it's not really a study, it's a poll. But everybody agrees that the amount of time that it takes for an ex to contact you back depends on several different things. And I wanted to go over them in detail in this video so that you know, okay, maybe if the average ex comes back within a couple months, maybe a few months, fine. But here's the deal, you're thinking in your head, well, maybe I really screwed this up. So, she's not coming back. So I wanted to address all of those things and see exactly how long you'll really have to go no contact before you can expect to hear back from her. The very first point I need to make before we even get into it is that I still have men in my DMs telling me that they have not gone true no contact. And true no contact is simply not liking any of their posts, not viewing any of their stories or their snaps. You are not interacting with them at all. It's a bare minimum type thing. If you work with each other, if you're forced to go to school with each other, you have the same classes, you're not mean to them, you are polite, you're detached, and you don't ask questions, right? You don't ask her how her day is or anything like that. You just say, hi, if you're forced to. Don't go up to her and just, hi. It's weird, okay? Don't do that. And if you're telling me, okay, well, here's the thing, I haven't gone true no contact, I've been doing those things, here's what it means. Yes, it does hurt you, but only hurts you in the short term, not the long term. So what I mean by that is that it simply extends the amount of time you'll have to go no contact. So if you've gone no contact for a month, but you've been liking her posts and doing all this stuff and giving her those little breadcrumbs of validation, what that does is that enables her to push you further away. It enables her to say, you know what, I don't need to reach out because you're already reaching out to me by liking my posts. She knows why you're doing that. You don't want her to forget about you. Here's the thing, she's not gonna forget about you, dude. Like, you think that the silence and the time will somehow make her forget about you, but it won't. It will make her miss you. It will make her want you more. So if you've been doing that for like the past month or two, all that means is that once you stop and you go true no contact, it starts from the day you last liked or viewed a story or post. That's exactly what it means. So if you screwed up, okay, you screwed up, but then you gotta count no contact, true no contact, from the last day that you interacted with her in any way, shape, or form. Excluding, unless you see her in class, you see her in school, and you're forced to interact with each other, then yeah, you can still consider that no contact even if you are forced to say hi or to smile or something like that. Remember, you're being polite, detached, flat, neutral, no flirty gestures, no nothing. All that being said, let's get into it. What things, what actions influence the amount of time that you're gonna have to go no contact before you can expect to hear from her again? Number one, the most important part is the actual breakup itself. The more toxic you were, the more you chased or blew up at her or called her phone 90 something times or called her names or swore you were done with her or blocked her or did any of these toxic things, the more you did those, the longer it's going to take for her to come back during no contact, because part of what makes her come back, part of what makes her miss you is that the negative energy or the negative emotions from your actual breakup have got to subside. They've got to neutralize or equalize in her brain, in her nervous system, in order for her to feel emotionally neutral at least towards you. And the only thing that makes those emotions come down is not you chasing, it's not you apologizing, it's time and silence. Time and silence. And I always say, look, if it's within 30 days, in other words, she just broke up with you a week or two ago and you did all those things, you told her that you hope she burns in hell and you never want to see her again and you blocked her and all this other crap, I'm gonna give you permission to reach back out to her to say, I was a total moron, absolutely outside of myself. I need to grow up and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, you deserve better. Don't say goodbye. Don't say, I hope you have a better life without me. Because again, you're still acting weak. That's what children do, okay? Stop that nonsense. The perfect way to end any sort of emotionally charged conversation like that or text is hope all is well. Those 4 words, hope all is well. It's polite, it's totally neutral, it's not a goodbye. You're not trying to get her to reach out to you or to continue the conversation. You just want to be flat, polite, and neutral. So after enough time, what's going to happen is that no matter how bad your breakup was, even if it was super toxic, is that those negative emotions are going to come down. And when they neutralize, she's going to be able to come back and think about you in her mind, just in her mind. Right, that's the first stage. Because she's not going to reach back out to you without you first coming into her mind in some sort of a positive light. Unless she reaches out to you to argue with you, but even then, that's not emotionally neutral. That still means you're in her head, okay? And those negative emotions subside, and she can actually look back on you with at least a little bit of positive thinking. That's when she's going to start to wonder about you. That's when she lets herself think about you for the first time in who knows how long, right? It all depends on how toxic you were during the actual breakup. Here's a little caveat. If she was doing the exact same thing, right, telling you that she wishes you burned in hell and all this other stuff too, you do not reach out with an apology or anything like that, because it's the exact same way in your mind. You're probably mad at her too, even if you want her back. But those negative emotions have to drift, man. They've got to come down. And the only way they come down is with silence and time. What influences the length of time that you have to go no contact? First was the actual breakup itself, and then second is the thing that every man fears most, and that is she has a new man, she has a new distraction, a new fling, a new rebound. It doesn't matter. Now here's the deal. This is always worst case scenario, right? You want her back and you find out a week or 2 after you're done, she's already with someone else, and you feel absolutely crushed. Like you didn't mean anything to her. She might be seeing this guy beforehand. You have no idea. But again, here's the thing. It's just a rebound. No matter how she classifies it, no matter how she labels it, and here's the only exception, if she was not messing around with him beforehand, it's a rebound, okay? It's not gonna last. It's going to last up until the honeymoon phase of that rebound ends. And honeymoon phases don't last more than 3 months. That's probably why these studies are saying, hey, within a couple, 3 months, your ex reaches back out to you, because they go off and they try somebody else and they realize, oh, this guy kind of sucks, at least compared to this guy. So that's when they get, oh, okay, well, I should, go back to him. It is what it is. I'm not saying you have to take her back. That's just my personal opinion, and we'll leave it at that. So if they have a new partner, what's going to happen are 2 things simultaneously. Number 1, like I said in my first point, you have negative emotions that have built up in her from the last relationship and the last breakup. First, you have the negative emotions of the last breakup, of the last relationship, and they're high, they're full in her mind, okay? Then you have the good feelings. You have the honeymoon phase of her new guy, her new relationship, the rebound guy. And those feelings are gonna be at an all-time high for at least a month, okay? She's gonna feel all kinds of validation and butterflies, and I know you hate hearing that, but look, the quicker it comes, the quicker it goes. So all of those emotions over time only work in your favor as long as you shut the hell up, okay? That's the secret, shut the hell up, go no contact. You know that, I'm just picking at you a little bit, all right? So those emotions only work for you with time and silence, because they come down slowly but surely. When that emotional equilibrium comes to a rest, guess what? You're right there waiting for her. Now look, you don't have to be waiting for her literally, right? You're not outside her bushes out in front of her house, at least I hope you're not. But that's whenever all those things die down and she actually has time to think about you and compare you and to think, oh man, I ruined something pretty good, or I kind of miss him. And if she has a new partner, that simply means that you're probably gonna have to wait a month at least until she feels like reaching back out to you, because like I said, again, they're in the honeymoon phase. There's such a small chance that she actually reaches out during this time if she has a new partner that you've just got to understand. You've got to let that run its course, and then after the honeymoon phase is when she'll finally begin to at least think about reaching out to you. Next is a psychological conundrum. It's called an attachment style. And this has more to do with your ex than it does with you, but here's the deal. People with attachment disorders, or attachment styles as they're called, tend to take a much longer time reaching out Because as far as a broad stroke of the brush goes, they tend to suppress their emotions much harder, much more, and run much faster than the average person does because they have a very deep psychological and emotional wound that's triggered by abandonment, it's triggered by fear of loss, it's triggered by things that you may not even be aware of. So if they do have an avoidant attachment style or something along those lines, they're going to take much longer to reach back out to you because they compartmentalize their emotions, they suppress and they bury, and boy do they bury. If you even attempt to reach out to them during this time, you are going to get nothing but either silence, nothing but coldness, nothing but they do not care. I've actually had this happen to me whenever I was younger, and she just flat out told me, I never plan on talking to you again. And I promise you, you don't want to hear that. And we did end up talking and messing around again. But okay, that's only after I went no contact. So you've got to understand the things that they say during this stage, they don't mean. And that's just a general rule for dealing with women, period. They'll tell you things that they mean in the moment, such as I love you, such as I want to spend the rest of my life with you, or I hate you and never want to see you again. Every single bit of those emotions are simply said in the moment. That's what they're feeling right now. They can't tell you how they're going to feel tomorrow. They're not like us. We can. I can tell you for 100% certainty, if I don't even like you, I still love you. And women just do not understand that logical thinking behind love and emotions because all it is for them is emotions. And I know that's going to get me in trouble, but the masculine and feminine dynamic are what they are. Be a man, let her be a woman. You'll find out the same. So if they have a dysregulated attachment style, so they're not securely attached or normal, they're gonna take longer to reach out to you. And that's not because you mean any less to them. It's because they're very good at distracting themselves. They're very good at running. They're very good at burying their emotions for you. And it's going to appear to them and to you that they simply don't care anymore. But the thing is, they're buried. They don't really deal with them. That's the tragedy of the avoidant attachment styles, is simply they do not and will not face previous relationships. They cannot do it. Their mode of self-reflection is to never self-reflect. They run as far and as fast as they possibly can. And you think, well, it'll come up to them eventually, and it's like, yeah, and they might break down and they'll reach out, but that's your only hope there. Usually they do come back, okay? I'm not saying they don't. If you've ever been in a relationship or a situationship with an avoidant, you'll understand when I tell you that these people run, and they run hard. They will not face themselves. They will not self-reflect on anything that they do. They are gone. And I mean at the slightest bit of provocation, they're absolutely gone. You ask them if they want a Diet Coke and you turn around and they're gone. Like, they are gone immediately. They won't just make a mountain out of a molehill. They'll take and make a planet out of a pebble. These people are highly emotionally reactive, okay? And that's the unfortunate nature of dealing with an avoidant. Now, you break that cycle by simply doing this. When they run, and they will, they run from intimacy, they run from the smallest bit of problems because it scares them. And what you've got to do is you simply sit back and you do not run, you do not chase. You give them nothing but space and silence, no matter how long it takes. And as long as you give them that, and you're strong in your silence, you're strong in your resolve, it will break them the first time. Not saying they'll never pull away, because they'll definitely pull away again, but the next time they pull away will simply be for a few days, and it won't be for a few months like you're about to probably experience with them. So, moving on. It could be that they have an attachment style that will allow them to stay gone, to stay running, and stay burying their feelings even longer than a normal person would. Lastly, something that every single person deals with, myself included, is pride and ego. If you are dealing with a partner that is good looking, that is successful, that is used to getting attention, and this could obviously be male or female, their pride, their ego is going to be so much tougher than the average person, especially if they're also an avoidant. Oh boy, you better buckle up. Get yourself a little Capri Sun, put yourself a little umbrella in it, whatever, and you're about to watch some fireworks go off. They're so emotionally dysregulated that they don't even understand why they do the things they do. There is no internal reflection there. It's just run as far and as fast as they possibly can, get a new partner as fast as they can. When that runs out, throw them away, and I mean throw them away hard. get a new partner and just keep running and running and running and running and running until their nervous system literally breaks them down, where they cannot handle even getting up, going into work. These people have to break. And the only way that that's going to happen is if you shut the hell up and let them implode, because they implode, man. I've seen girls totally wipe their entire bios, block multiple people, lash out publicly at men who didn't even offend them. Like, they just lash out at everyone because they can. Like, if you've ever dealt with it, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. So, what influences the amount of time that you have to go no contact after a breakup? I gave you 4 things. Number 1 was the actual breakup itself. Number 2 was if they have a new partner. Number 3 is their attachment style. And number 4 is their pride and ego. And those 4 things are what's going to influence how long you have to go no contact. And the unfortunate part is it's largely not even up to you at that point. 3 things out of the 4 things I listed on that list have nothing to do with you. And I know that that sucks, and that's why it feels so powerless, because I think your psyche understands that. I think the average person really understands that when it comes to a breakup, there's nothing they can do. They just have to wait for the other person to realize what they threw away. And oftentimes when they throw you away hard. And it feels really unfair, but there's nothing you can do. That's part of life, is that there are things you're not going to be able to control. That's why you've got to learn to just let those things go. And if they come back, and odds are high they come back, especially if they have an attachment style like an avoidant, they love to circle back, especially if you give them an open loop. In other words, they left without closure. They'll be back. But even dealing with their pride and ego, how dare they sink themselves low enough to reply to your text that they left on read, right? It's like, that thought is just so beyond them. You're so beneath them right now. Those things fade with time. Those emotions, the pride, all of that breaks, all of it cracks eventually. That's when they reach back out. And when they do, they're gonna reach back out with a subtle, hey, how you been? Are you alive? And you can go off on them if you want. It's not gonna get them back. It's gonna make them run again. Point is, I got you, little bro. You've got this, and I'll see you in the next one.